Hi, welcome everyone. This is our fifth webinar where we're looking at workflows, and I'm delighted to have Gabriel here from Heter Architects to talk about workflow that he's looked at recently, which was unbelievably popular on LinkedIn, and I can share that with you now actually. So he shared a video last week about his workflow using VISOID and Spacio, and Spacio is a generative design tool, and VISOID is a real-time rendering AI-based tool. And this has got so much attention. I thought it would be an excellent event to have on our webinars. So that's why we're doing that today. Just to give you a rundown what we're doing today. So we're going to do a quick introduction to everyone, and then we're going to go into Gabriel talking about his experience and work at Heter, and then what he did with this workflow. We'll look at Spacio and VISOID in a bit of detail just to see how they work and ask questions around that. We'll have discussion between all of us all the way through this, but anyone who's got comments as well on LinkedIn, that we'll be able to answer those. And at the end, I'm going to just go over the generative design report, which is out there. It's available, and I've got a discount code for that. So if you can stay for the end, you will get that, and that would be really great. We're going to do question and answers as well at the end or throughout this as we go. So, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce Gabriel very quickly. So we met last year actually on a podcast, which was about AI, which was really great. And then we met again in person this year at the Design Technology User Group, which was really great. He works at Heter Architects, which are architects in London. And as you can see from his kind of post here, they're doing some work in the Middle East around master planning. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Gabriel, and tell us a little bit more about your experience and what you're doing at Heter Architects.
So guys, thanks to having me. It's my pleasure to be here and share my experience. I've been working at Heter for the last year. It's a company with 5-6 years based on London, and the beginning starts in South Korea. We have a team in South Korea provide support for companies in Asia. So my first role in the company was work as a consultant for BIM, and I always love being involved in technology solutions. And yeah, I think we are looking for new steps in it's a kind of evolution. We talk a long time about industrial revolution, and I think AI will be the next one, and this change the face of the industry. And yeah, my role in Heter changed. Now I'm doing business development. The company have a mixed use project portfolio. We work with data centers, residential. Now we start with master plan. We are looking for Saudi Arabia market. I've been based on Lisbon since 2016. I work in different companies, but mostly produce projects in Saudi Arabia. So I see this as a huge potential to join the qualities of the tools with AI, with the Vision 2030 that request a huge demand of residential. And yeah, this is my background. I have a degree in Brazil. I have my Erasmus time in Portugal. I fall in love for the country. Make me move to Portugal. I like the weather. I have a good experience in FAUB. I have classes with Cesar Vieira, so tomorrow was amazing experiencing during this time. And yeah, now I'm here. And
Yeah.
I hope to share a little bit of my experience with you, and AI it's new for everybody. So if you wanna keep doing this, I love the show. I saw the video that you share with me, and it's amazing. And you bring this to the industry. It's very special because we need to see the potential that AI can bring for the architects and the developers.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. And yeah, that's what we're trying to do, is actually demonstrate these tools in use rather than telling people about tools. We're actually trying to show what they do, how they work together. And that's incredibly valuable, because we are all trying to work out how all this new technology works together with other software. So having the opportunity to run through this with you today is really amazing. Where do you, can you tell us what kind of why you were looking at Spacio and VISOID together? What made you choose those two tools?
Before, when this started, I was a little bit skeptical because it was more about images, and I have a background with 3D. Because I mean, in architecture field, when you are a student, they don't pay well, and 3D paid much better. And this make me doing a lot of 3D than during the university, open new field. And I understand that communication with the clients is much more easy. So 3D always open space for me. And the first approach in the AI with image, I don't make me feel like, okay, this is not working well, but have a potential. And when I saw Spacio, I saw a different approach. You know, you were talking about project data is a very dense amount of data that they deal during the process in a very easy way to do. And after our podcast, I start off with the guys who developed the software. I participate for a month in a beta test. We basically run and find the mistakes, issues, and comment the experience. And I saw how much the quality of the software improves. They have like a simulations. They considering the areas and have everything in just basic clicks. I mean, you don't need to be a super experienced master plan guy to play with master plans anymore. You know, like a master plan is one of the tough tasks that we have in the market. And this, it's a tool that can brings you a different approach with simple solutions. When I say that, it's like instead to modeling and try for weeks and maybe months, you can have in a couple of hours approach, and you can jump from this software for another one and have visuals and solve an issue that the market have. It's about communication. I don't know if you agree with me, but architects in general is terrible communications. They are terrible in communication. We go to the we say this. It's I mean it's not our fault. You know, we stay 5 years in the university, learn how to do plans, sections, elevations. We get out to the market thinking that this is the tools that we should develop. And the client comes to us and say, look, I don't understand this. And obviously, we can obviously that 3D and visualizations is the best tool that you can have. One of the best that you can have to exchange ideas, but takes so long to do something realist that respect the environment. So, and I like the process. I mean, uh, the process to reproduce reality in the virtual world, it's beautiful and give you like 100% sure that approach you are trying to do. So I've been in a company that called 8025, and they respect the very precise the position of the sun and the quality of material. So when you do a 3D like that, you really see the results. And this is important. Imagine it's different. If you go to the supermarket and buy shoes, you can try, you can test and be more, you make choose with more information. In architecture, it's different. You basically say to the client, please open your pocket because the project is expensive, but trust in me, that will be amazing. And with those tools, you can give more data and help them make decisions, participate of the decisions during the process. And this is the beauty of the AI tools. We are trying to approach the clients with this new product. I think it's a new product that we can introduce as an entire workflow, even with the traditional one, or you can use just with a new stage. Like you want to see, we can make trial. Don't burn time on that. It's simple to do, and yeah, I think it's a game change.
Yeah. So
That's quite.
that's obviously Spacio, and it's really interesting to see, your engagement with that. And I remember you reaching out about this after we had met. How about VISOID? What made you kind of choose that as a tool to start looking at rendering? I think you're on mute. Oh, I'm just...
Oh, I think you're muted, Gabriel.
So, sorry guys, VISOID was a very fun story, and started because when I was in Korea, I traveled with my desktop. It's a huge luggage full of equipment. I know it sounds stupid, but I like to have like a computer that provides support when I need it. And that was painful. And in the process, I decided, okay, I will try and migrate to something simple. So I acquired a tablet, simple, small, and I decided to find a solution for run ideas that you can sketch easy and have like an output faster. And I did a video. I speed up the video 5 times. So in general, the video was around 6 minutes. But I get rendering from Octane Render, that it's my favorite render, and runs in iPad for free. I just take some images, upload in Lux, was not VISOID. And this video makes Mark, was the guy who developed VISOID, comes to me and say, "Hey, you should try my tool. It's amazing, and it's very accurate." And at the time, I don't feel okay. Maybe I will try, but I was not into it at the time. But it's amazing. It's give you a lot of options. The quality is good. You can import the geometry. They understand if you bring with materials, they are even better. You can blend with reference image, and they copy the mood of the image. This is something that I like. It. You can control how and create and with the geometry the render will be, and you will receive this with the entire mood. So the lighting, the textures, so it has been a very good experience. Some of the projects that we are doing are not able to tell in detail, but basically, the last 2 days we are doing a lot of images with VISOID and doing things that you even don't see in the website. Like basically, we are modeling an entire island and bring this simple geometry to life. And it have been very useful to communicate with the client. I just received a message for a friend saying that the client loved this first approach. Um, it's a very interesting point. Is have been like difficult for the team and difficult for the client for other side to understand that it's not a traditional way to work. It's not a traditional way to receive a project. And in the beginning, I think this will be a barrier, but was not. So the client understand the limitations. Like sometimes we have like a tree that is not supposed there, or a mountain that was not part of the real thing. You can develop more inside the Photoshop. So even inside the VISOID, they have a tool that you can modify or add the small parts of the project that works pretty well. So yeah, it's a very good tool.
Amazing. So, sorry, Ivan, are you going to ask a question?
Oh, I was gonna say, this is really, really interesting, especially because I think this is the first time I'm super excited to talk to you. This is the first time I'm talking to like someone who's used these in practice. So I'm just curious about, when do you employ these tools? Is it very early stage, and when do you switch over to more traditional like rendering or design tools, or have you been seeing yourself take these further and further into the design phase?
Yeah, good question, because I believe that can be applied in different stage. And what's most important is ask about time. Usually in architecture offices, time by time we have tough deliverables. And if you go to the traditional one, maybe you feel more comfortable because you have a background that gives you like, okay, I know with those tools, I go to the end of the deadline will be painful, but I can deliver it. But when you try this kind of approach, you can have good results, and depend of the situation that you are. You need like deal with this hallucination that AI have sometimes. I like to do in the early stage because it's easy to communicate with the client. So I will tell you the first time that I did AI in a project and become like a real deal. I was in Korea. My friends comes to me. It was like my last week before our vacations, like Tuesday. And the guy comes to me and saying, Gabriel, we need delivery a bunch of images for a project that show up today for a data center. They said, "Oh my god, I will need like 1 week to see if we go like a final and high level quality renders." At the time, I was alone doing that, so I go to the model leader and ask, "Okay, can we do using AI?" And I think he believed that was the not easy time to deliver. So he just say, "Okay, try." And the guy comes to me with email file complete in Korean and say, "Oh my God, I need to translate the Korean for you." I say, "No, no, don't need translate." So I drag and drop the email in the ChatGPT and ask the ChatGPT create 4 different type of prompts. And I share with my friends. We connect in Midjourney, and all the colleagues start make a kind of brainstorm inside the Midjourney, blend with the RFP, the request for presentation that come from the client, and with our background. And this is amazing because we can introduce what we believe in terms of architecture can contribute for the client's need, but we still put the client's touch inside the project. So we really bring the clients to the process. And from that, we have like hundreds and hundreds of images. The guys use these to select, let's say, the 10 top images. And in the end, I go to my vacations and was share like one of the colleagues was developed the 3D, the traditional way, and looks almost the same with the Midjourney. Of course, we adapt for the shape of the sides, but basically the idea that we come out from the Midjourney help us drive the concept. And the client was happy with that because everybody was in the same page and involved on that. So this was the first and was in the early stage. For the final stage, you can even use different tools. I will give an example. As a consultant in BIM, I'm not the type of guy who likes bureaucracy in documents, but it's super important for BIM. So we have a bunch of documents to organize, names of walls, names of windows, and needs to be very accurate and organized for that. Special for one of our top clients. they demand this. So imagine training a new guy that arrives in the company with 3 or 4 different spreadsheets to decide the name of wall. It's crazy, you save time, drive data in the BIM, but you lost time reading all those documentations. And this is not in the this is not in the early stages, more like in the middle for the end stage. So I create my chat GPT and training with the files. You can do this with Plus account from OpenAI, but you can create this with anything LLM, that is a software, amazing software that you can customize your AIs for specific tools. And this speed up a lot of process, documentations, even for 3D. I did once, I have on my LinkedIn, I just make a print screen from a textures folder, paste in the GPT, and they give me a 289 lines of code that I copy and paste in Octane and become a realistic material. So instead to spend time doing that, so you can use in all stages. You just need find a painful thing that you don't like to expend time, think about the solution, and for sure we will find a tool that helps you.
Okay, so someone has very politely said, please less talking, more content. So let's move to the content. Do you want to share your screen to share your video, or do you want me to share it from my screen here?
Yeah, you can share from your screen.
So I've got this. Is that useful? Can we, do you want to walk us? Is it, I don't know if I can make this full screen is the only thing. Is this, hang on, slow down. I'm just trying to make this the right size. Okay, yeah. Do you want to walk us through what you kind of created here? Just tell me if you want me to slow it down a bit. Turn it down a little bit.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, walk us through what you were kind of doing then.
Yeah, this is the result that they play with VISOID in the beginning. So when you open the Spacio, they allow you choose a place. They bring information. The information depends on the country. They have more or less data. And basically you can create like a polygon with the side. You can bring data from AutoCAD with topography. You can have the boundary of the buildings. If you prefer, start with AutoCAD. Once you do that, you can create roads and connect the roads that you already have there. If you have the generative they adapt in real time. This is not recommended, in my opinion. If you go like in a big site like that, if you start cutting with roads, they took more time. If you go a little bit small scale, they adapt better. From that, you can organize the density, the opening of the massing, and everything have like a good quality of information. When I say information, like GIA, GIF, all the areas they create, you can select the box, their floor, and give different users. So let's say you decide to go with residential above the first floor, and the ground floor you can go with a commercial area. All those things are easy to set up, and you can export this data in Excel. The geometry you can export to BIM, you can export to Rhino, OBG. And other thing that I don't like to do, I really start my looking for technology in deep architecture, because for a part of my career, they start giving me a lot of parking area, and I hate the parking. Is the last creative thing that you can do is parking. It's painful, and this tool is beautiful to the parking. If you move the ramp, they adapt the spots. They understand the core of the buildings. they adjust for the level outside to increase or decrease the ramp that you need. They give you the number of parking based on the amount of unities that you are doing. So it's really good. And once
And
you decide a camera, you can create your cameras, export, and rendering in VISOID.
so you're obviously exporting out of Spacio and bringing that into VISOID, and it's preserving the geometry. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah. One of the things, uh, if you export like, I like to work the massing in Octane Render because of the camera. I think those tools still need to improve the cameras, because in architecture offices, we just want to see the project in general. We don't care too much about the composition. When I start talking about composition, looks I can sound silly, but the client wants to feel the smell of a new car when he's seeing the project, because they invest millions and millions in something. So composition is super important. In this video cost me 45 minutes to do in a normal time. Okay. So in 45 minutes, I create a massing. I know that is not a complete and very well urbanist solution, because this was not the focus. The focus was create a workflow and pass through different tools to see the results, how I transport the data in a way that I can communicate. And I think this was the goal.
Yeah.
So
I think
And
that's go for it, Allister. Sorry.
no, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say that's a good point that you bring up about, you know, we're coming up with these forms, the basically these geometry that it's giving us. Um, it has some underlying optimizations that it's doing, and those underlying optimizations are either adjusted by us or by the developers of these tools. Um, Imagine if a lot of people, a lot of urban designers and architects are using these tools. That has to have an impact, a big impact on the urban spaces that are going to be created in the future. So any small, decision can lead to huge impacts in how our cities, how our spaces, how our environments look and work. So what do you think about that? Do you incorporate, some sort of a design philosophy when creating these? I don't know how many projects you've done where you've used these in real life. It seems like you have a few, especially maybe in Saudi or in the Middle East. Uh, but I'm curious because that's a question that a lot of architects are currently talking about, which is what is the agency and the knowledge base that we've had over the years, kind of going into, or what is it becoming with the emergence of these tools and the quick iterative process of coming up with solutions to larger urban sites. Um, what are your opinions on that, and how are you kind of working through it?
yeah, good point. We are for me, it's always about people, because if you look for the numbers, I think for 2025 we have a deficit of 1.6, 1.5 billion of residential for people. So we need to produce these, and I think the first time that I listened this in deep talking about AI and this situation was you, Alistair, in that podcast, that we are talking about the benefit to provide residential areas for to attend the demand that we have. And for sure, we are playing with the face of the urbanist. We have a huge impact on that. We need look for these tools as a tool. For decades, we have this image that AI is a machine that comes from the future to destroy us. But for me, it's just a tool to speed up my work and provide better data to prove that we are in the right direction and we are doing the best as we can. And it's very customized. For sure, they need to improve a bunch of things to become more and more efficiency. But yeah, I think the cities in the future will be looked for those tools as first step for this generation. I mean, we are not constructing yet in Saudi Arabia, but we are looking for that because I truly believe that the Vision 2030 is a plan of Saudi Arabia has to change the economy and bring them more technology and become like make the Saudi Arabia a hub of technology. So I believe this kind of tool will help this happen. So yeah, I hope that be part of this in the future to provide solutions that create a very good and amazing experience for the population, because it's always about people.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And by the way, these tools, currently the ones you're using, don't have any understanding of the codes or zoning laws of that specific locality, do they? That I'm assuming is figured out once you have the general idea from these tools, then you actually start to really figure out what the architecture looks like.
Good point. This is one of the points that when I was participating in the beta test with Spacio, many people talk about it. Will be super good have this attached in the software itself because make the life easy. I mean, I've been in places like Korea. I still have here the link to access. It's super complicated because it's in Korean. It's difficult. I don't know Korean and I need someone to translate. We need partners. If you go construct in a different country, usually we do that. So have the municipality documentation accessible will be amazing. And this pass through for the municipality itself, for each country rules. And if they allow us access, this will be much better in the future. I believe if these tools don't bring this direct, you can do this by yourself. I mean, did that in Korea and was difficult, but I still trying to develop AI that I feed with information for that. So let's say if you create your own GPT or in anything LLM, drag and drop the municipality codes, PDFs, training a little bit, you can use these to speed up the process. You know, you don't need to memorize all the setbacks, depend of the zoning of the urban area. You don't need to remember everything about fire security or whatever. You just go there and type. Other thing that I believe we will be able to do soon is drag and drop your presentation PDF and ask for the AI check and give you a feedback if it's okay or not. I did this in London for a developer. The guy wants to know if we how long it takes to the payback. They want to see how how long it takes to receive the investment, and it was incredible. I read the document, the normal PDF, and they give me back the breakdown of every option that we did in the document with the payback time, and I don't feed with the cost average in the area. So the AI was smart enough to read the location, check for the construction price, and apply in top of our options to give to developer the best solution between in our options. So we are looking that as an option to even check if we are doing the best solutions for our projects.
Yeah. And I think this is the key point about generative design, is that it enables faster decisions, faster than we can make more typically on our own. As architects, we know we can make, a reasonably good approach at a particular site, thinking about massing, context, and the requirements of a client. But when it comes to counting things, and you've displayed it really well, Gabriel, is the car parking. Computers can do car parking layout. We don't need to do that. Unit mixes, computers can do the unit mix for us. We just need to tell the generative design tool what we're looking for, and it can do that much faster than we can do manually. So the whole process I've gone through reviewing all these different generative design software, they all work in different ways. They all work in slightly different sectors, and they've got different specialties. And that's what the report tries to do, is say, look, which one is going to be appropriate for which users or which architects. And we can use those in specific use cases to make better decisions faster, which are more informed. And in particular around sustainability, I think this has a massive effect, in that many architects unfortunately design at an early stage without proper sustainability being inputted, apart from, I would say, kind of like first principles. But with generative design, and with the ability to do what you've done here, is take that geometry out, put it into another piece of software to analyze that massing of the form quickly and easily, it allows us as architects to design faster. So the opportunities here are really big. And what's interesting with this workflow is that it's partially using AI in terms of the rendering side of it, and the fact that it brings in geometry is incredibly valuable. But it's also just using algorithmic decision making. So the users say, this is what I want to see, this much housing, this high, this unit mix. So there's loads of control over it. And then the computer, the generative design software, is giving the output. And then those can be tweaked and managed and changed quickly and easily. And this is where, as users, we can't do that at the same iterative speed, basically. And that's where these computers can help us, but crucially allows us to have control over that process. That's where AI can be much more uncontrolled, is that you're saying, I'd like to see this with a prompt, and the AI is interpreting that based on its large language model or whatever that is. With generative design, most of the software isn't AI based, it's algorithmically based. So it's using logic, and it's using your inputs to develop what that output should look like. So the subtext here is that architects shouldn't be afraid of using this software, because it still gives us plenty of control, but it gives us more iterations faster, and allows us to be more informed over the course of a project. I'm going to stop there. So, Leo, you're here. You're our IT manager, and you are obviously coming at this from a different direction. What are your thoughts about? I mean, these are two web-based tools, but from an IT perspective, what would you be considering with these?
Sure, I was gonna pick Gabriel up on his comment about how he carried his desktop computer to Korea, and the future of kind of web-based GPUs, and his feelings around that. In that, would you ever do you think that is just the future? That's the way we're going. We're going to web-based GPU. Would you ever go back to using your traditional rendering software, or is Visio the way forward for you?
Trick question, because if I say I love do the traditional way as a person, I feel like a dinosaur by those days. I feel like that, and I like it. And the increase of power in terms of computer processing will allow us to do incredible things. When I say that, AI, We have this imaginary, as I mentioned before, that's the machine and whatever. They are not awareness. This is a probabilistic tool that can understand and see the next step for everything. If you are typing a text, you are developing an image, you are prompt something, it's a probabilistic tool. Imagine what we can do with a probabilistic tool that have all the content that a humankind produce. And for sure, we need powerful computer systems. And I still think that I will improve the quality of my computer, because for AI is not giving enough. But the cloud systems will be. I mean, I try to load my version, my let's say personal assistant AI. I call Alfredo, come from a joke, but I always try see how I can improve Alfredo, and I rent a server in DigitalOcean, but to use a server that provides you a huge and very good quality GPU is still very expensive.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
basically, you need to rent a computer to set up based on Docker and other softwares to run anything LLM, and pay a API from OpenAI or other company to run the AI. So you basically rent two different computers, one to have like the static phase, and another one to run the AI. And I believe like maybe in 5 years or less, this will not happen anymore. I believe people will start having computers at home just to run personal AIs training for many things. I think it will be super fast. I don't try yet a graphic card with a huge amount of TensorFlow. I'm super curious to see the results. But yeah, technology brings us a new future for sure.
Yeah, well said.
Okay, so that's been incredibly valuable, and I really appreciate your time showing that to us. I've put the links to the original post in the comments here and on LinkedIn and on Instagram, so people should be able to find that if they want to see that video in more detail. I'm just going to share what I've been working on for the last few months, which is my generative design report. So Spacio is part of this report, and the idea behind this was to actually look at all the different solutions that are out there and to enable architects or real estate clients or developers to make informed decisions about the generative design tools which are out there. So this took me 3 months to complete, sorry, 4 months to complete. It's a super deep dive into 30 tools. 20 of them I look at in a lot of detail with a qualitative and quantitative analysis. So there's a scoring for that. And then there's other aspects to it as well, where I'm looking at the costs and looking at tech stacks and workflows, how much they may indicatively cost as well. So that as a architect or a director of a practice, if you're thinking about trying to adopt these tools, you can start to understand actually what the impact may be. And the whole idea about this is to demystify what's out there with generative design, to increase the quality of what we do and the way that we work for feasibility studies and early stage viabilities or capacity studies. And to, just to kind of broaden the knowledge of these. So there's a few different options that are on there. So there's a taster document, which is really low cost, which gives you an overview of all of the software and the introduction. And then there's the more detailed report, which is this one, which has got all of the scores in here, all of the workflows, all the costs, looking at work stages and how they fit across the different AIA, RIBA work stages, as well as NatSpec and the European ones. And then there's a cheat sheet in here as well. And this cheat sheet has all of the software with all of their functionality compared. So what it will export to, what sector it's aimed at, what their priority is, web links and things. So all of that research has been bundled into this amazing report, which is a resource for the industry. And at the moment, there is an amazing discount on this document. So if you do want to download it, there is a discount of about 30% of the normal price. And it would be, yeah, we'd be delighted if you wanted to access that. And if you are a student or a university, there is a 20% discount as well. Trying to obviously, help students and universities to upskill in this and actually, bring this as a proper resource to help students who are the next generation coming into practices who should be pushing us forward. So I will put a link to the report in the comments here. Hang on a second. Yeah, here. There's a link here. So if you go to add.io/GD, you can see that report and you can get an overview of what's included in there. There are some other options as well if you want some consultancy or workshops with that as well. But the two key ones are the taster document, which is here, and then the full report, which is here. Then these are other bits as well. Okay, that's the hard sell. So I'm going to leave that at that. Have you got any more questions, Arvinder or Leo at all?
I mean, I have a ton based just on architectural practice and more the philosophical side of it all, but I think that's gonna bore a lot of people, so probably table it for another time.
Okay. I mean, we're going to do more of these sessions, and the next one's lined up. We are going to be looking at Finch and Former and the integration they are looking to announce, and also looking at some AI workflows as well with software like Cogrum, Howie, and also Maestro, which has been built by Built Smart. There's some really great AI-based tools looking across different work stages. So we've got 2 more plugged in. We're going to try and do these on a bi-weekly basis, so keep a lookout for those. Gabriel, I wanted to say a big thanks for coming on. It's been amazing to have you here to talk about that, and that video is amazing. It's a really amazing thing, and what's really great about it is it's super quick and easy to understand what you've done. So I think you've done the industry a great benefit by sharing that. So thanks very much.
Thank you to invite me, and congratulations for your report. I think you are one of the biggest guys lighting the way for the industry, and I hope see more videos to bring this kind of important information for the industry. I believe this is a game changer that people have scared to change. Even when it's good, people feel scared. And yeah, you will bring this light for the industry, and it's very important, your work. Thank you to invite me, and congratulations for your book.
Thank you. That's very nice. Yeah, just do my best. I find it fascinating. This whole area is just fascinating, and it's hugely exciting. From where we were 20 years ago to now is incredible. Where we're going to go over the next 5 years is going to be an enormous shift, and hugely exciting, but also very challenging at the same time. But we'll keep going, and by sharing knowledge and sharing like you have, I think that's going to keep us moving in a better direction. Okay, all right. I'm going to call an end to it there. Thanks very much to everyone, to you, Leo, and Arvinder. That's amazing. If anyone has any questions or wants to reach out, please reach out to Gabriel on LinkedIn, or he's at Heta Architects as well. And I'm sure he'd be happy to answer any of your questions. And if you want to know anything to do with IT, pester Leo, he'd be delighted to hear from you. And also with Arvinder as well. He's our US correspondent. So if you're US based and you want to meet up with him, then he's based in Chicago. I'm sure he'd be happy to have a chat. Okay, all right. Thanks everyone, and thanks for attending, and we'll see you again another time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.